Welcome back to Strongman Personal Finance. I am Christopher Bell, certified public accountant, long-term boglehead investor, author of the book Stop Being a Broke Loser. It's on Amazon for $3. That's like 10,000 times cheaper than Jeremy's course. And hater of Jeremy Lefebvre and his stupid speculative gambles and his disgusting grift where he charges people up to $20,000 to teach them how to read a frickin' 10K. Literally a free annual report that you can grab from the Securities and Exchange Commission website. Now today, we're going to look at Jeremy's reaction to an Everything Money video, where Everything Money eviscerated Tattooed Chef, or as I like to call it, Tattooed Nutsack, one of the most garbage stocks I have ever seen in my entire life. Jeremy watches their video, and we're just going to watch Jeremy's reactions, and I'm going to show you why this guy is a freaking loser, and he knows nothing about investing. And even if he did know something about investing, keep in mind, he claims he's a long-term investor, and he charges people up to $20,000 to join a Discord, basically, and teach people how to read a freaking 10K, okay? Long-term investor. Now, before we dive into the video, who wears the hat better? Be honest. Before we dive into the video, we're going to look at Jeremy's recent posts about Tattooed Chef. Now, if you're a long-term investor, you buy a stock at a price below its intrinsic value, and you just let it ride. And that's it. You don't have to talk about it. You don't have to keep pumping it up. You don't have to worry about it going up and down in the short term. Look what Jeremy does. 2 hours ago, Tattooed Chef. 1 week ago, I'm broke again, Tattooed Chef. 2 weeks ago, Tattooed Chef. 1 week ago again, Tattooed Chef. 3 weeks ago, Tattooed Chef. 1 week ago, Tattooed Chef again. 1 month ago, just constant harping on Tattooed Chef. Jeremy, if you're a long-term investor and you believe in the company, why do you have to post a video about it almost every freaking day? If you did your due diligence, because you're such a genius, you're so smart, and you wear these amazing hats, you're so amazing. If you did your due diligence, who gives a crap what happens in the short term? It doesn't freaking matter. Anyway, this guy's a freaking charlatan, but let's go ahead and watch his video. And listen to the intro, and let's see who did it better.
Hello, howdy there folks, and welcome into today's video. Hope you guys are doing great as always out there. So I had some people requesting in the video I released earlier to do a reaction video. So I guess a couple hours ago, the folks over at Everything Money released a video on Tattooed Chef. I'm assuming it's a negative video on Tattooed Chef. And
of course it is, because you're trash, Jeremy.
Video, I don't know. Talk on a day-to-day basis, okay? Obviously, I'm a long-term investor in this company.
You hear that? He's a long-term investor, and yet he makes a video about it every freaking day. Oh, the stock went up! Oh my god, I'm such a genius! Oh, the stock went down. Oh, it's just temporary. Come on, this guy is not a long-term investor. He's a freaking grifter.
I'm planning to be in this stock for years to come in the future, and we'll see what the future holds, okay? So, I'm hoping this is a good video. It's 17 minutes long. I'm hoping they get into the fundamentals here and things like that. And I'm hoping we can have some debate and dialogue back and forth here. I enjoy, I kind of enjoy if somebody takes a negative stance. And maybe they don't. Maybe they take a super positive stance. I'm like 98% sure it's going to be a negative stance. So let's see kind of what happens here, okay?
Hey, welcome back to Everything Money. We're glad to do this again, as always, except Paul and Mo. Today we're talking about Tattooed Chef. Paul,
I like to call it Tattooed Nutsack.
Stock is just, for me, it's a little frustrating at times.
It's a love-hate relationship.
Yes, you and I have done some videos of these. Actually, when we were in Mexico, your beautiful Mexican house, in January, I said, there's some chatter about this. Let's take a look at this. For some reason, the financial data has never matched up with our software, with YCharts, with Google Finance.
But us and YCharts has been correct.
That's right.
Has been similar, but Google Finance has had different numbers, which I actually look at Google Finance and think their number might be a little more accurate.
But regardless, folks, if you're scouring YouTube looking for information on Tattooed Chef or just investing in general, there are so many people talking about how great this plant-based food.
You notice how I'm an alpha male? You see how big my freaking glass is? Compare that to what Jeremy's drinking. Come on. I'm a real man. That's why you need to listen to my financial advice. Anyway, that was just a short aside. Hopefully we'll get into Jeremy's commentary shortly.
Will be, and they have been for months, Paul. Now, as we know,
I'm on YouTube pretty actively, and I can tell you there's not a ton of people that are talking up Tattoo Chef. At least not.
Really? Type in Tattoo Chef right now and look. It's freaking everywhere. And this clown right here is the king of Tattooed Chef shills, because he has to shill the stock because he needs to pump it up to make money. That's why he's constantly talking about it. He's trying to get the YouTube squad to buy into his garbage stock that's been crushed recently.
Not that I know of. I don't know of any other what I would call super big creator on the platform that's talking up that stock. So I'm not sure where they're getting that from, but
the deeper and deeper I learn about this, and I learn from you, is like there's just a barrage of hype surrounding some. They pick some random companies, Mo.
Yep.
If it's the memes, it's like it makes no sense.
Crazy.
And they just somehow they get together and pick these random companies, and then they keep jumping on board and jumping on board. Next, you know, it's this echo.
It's definitely going to be a negative video. There's no doubt about that. Okay, we're going negative.
Bro, the Tattooed Chef is the best.
Jeremy, you think this is negative? You should watch some of my videos about you, bucko. You would love me. I'd probably make you cry a little bit.
Best thing ever. Well, sure enough, we had videos in January that we put up, and the financials were all over the place. We ended up taking them down because the financials were incorrect. But regardless, I think the trend is the same, Paul. You know, this stock has since somewhat collapsed since its highs, and sure enough, like most hype channels, it's like when it's going up, it's a buy.
You can see how fidgety Jeremy is, because he has like, I think he probably has $1 million at least invested in this stock when you factor in call options that he bought, because, you know, that's long-term investing. That's not gambling. And then, of course, the freaking stock itself, I think he has like a cost basis of maybe $900,000 or probably even more after this recent dip, because, you know, we bought the dip. He's got a lot riding on this stock, which is why he's a clown, because he's so hyper-concentrated in 1 or 2, 3 stocks that if any one of those stocks doesn't do like he thinks, it's going to ruin him. It's going to annihilate his portfolio. That's why he's so butthurt about this video. If somebody made a video about Alibaba, the stock that I have, I wouldn't care. If they were dumping on it, I wouldn't care, because it's a small part of my portfolio. It's like, okay, maybe I am wrong. Let me hear what you have to say. This guy, he's a little butthurt. You can see it in his eyes, his soulless little eyes.
And then when it's going down, it's a buy the dip. There's never bad news with this. It's still
You know.
Oh, they don't know anything. I'm Jeremy the Fave.
We'll get into a lot probably in the course of this video, but as a long-term investor of the stock, yes. If the
Not a long-term investor. Look how many videos he makes about it.
stock's going up, cool. If it goes down, buy the dip. That's like investing 101. It's not like some new age principle or something like that. Like ask Warren Buffett. Like if he loves a stock and he's buying into a company and the stock price goes down.
I love the comparison to Warren Buffett. Yes, Jeremy, you're the next Warren Buffett. I'm sure you do discounted cash flow analysis of stocks. Oh, wait, you don't. You just buy hype.
What is he doing? He's buying. He's not like, oh, I got to sell the stock now or something like that. Like it's just, you know.
thing ever. If
Investing 101.
You can find out.
See, everything money is just so stupid. I'm Jeremy, and I'm so smart. Look at my hat. I'm so sexy.
Everyone just loves the stock. So I would like to deliver to you perhaps the opposite opinion about.
Everybody doesn't love the stock. If you've been watching anything on Millennial Money, I argue against Kevin all the time. Me, Kevin, would definitely agree with these gentlemen here. So they're definitely on.
Little does he know how much they crap on me, Kevin, too. But I mean, that whole band of Jay Nagy, my buddy, calls them the 4 horsemen of the financial apocalypse. They're all freaking trash. All 4 of those guys on Millennial Money are morons, okay? So just because Meet Kevin agrees with him doesn't mean that, you know, there's a bunch of debate about the stock. The vast majority of YouTubers love Tattooed Chef. At least maybe not the massive ones like his little butt buddies, but the vast majority of the ones that are pumping the stock or talk about it love the stock. There's very few people that are, you know, brave enough to dump on a stock that isn't even profitable. But whatever. Let's keep watching.
Me, Kevin's side here about Tattoo Chef. You know, I don't get this whole thing like everybody in the world believes like Tattoo Chef's a great stock. Definitely not like that at all.
But just maybe be careful out there. It is, if you're a young or new investor,
you can see he's personally offended by this.
It's a great investment. It just everyone everyone else is saying it, much like the Teslas and the Bitcoins out there. This has to be wonderful. And I would love to show you someone who's been doing it, who's been investing a different way for the past 20 years and been wildly successful at it, Paul. So give us your thoughts.
Oh, here comes an ad.
Thank you.
How do I manage my money? Let me not mince words. I prefer more method.
First off, guys, follow us on Instagram. Mo and I, we're trying to get our blue check marks. It's very important to our vanity. So when it comes to any sort of company, companies that are growing fast are very exciting. You look at this company, and back in January, here was the stock price, $26 a share, right? It's now at 16. Does that mean it's obviously bad? No, it doesn't mean that. Look at Alibaba. Alibaba's plummeting now, and I'm a fan of it. I keep buying more, right? And I hope all my stocks that I'm buying, Walgreens, Intel, Alibaba,
Hey!
are going.
Hey! We're Walgreens. Hey, Walgreens. Now I'm on his side, okay? I guess we're both Walgreens shareholders. I got 7 figures in Walgreens. Hey, we're both...
I got 7 figs in Walgreens. You want to know why? Because I sell a $20,000 course to teach people how to read a 10K, and I promise them massive returns that they aren't going to freaking get. But I got 7 figures because I'm a high baller. I'm Jeremy. Run! But yeah, I don't like Walgreens. Whatever. Paul likes it. LaFufu likes it. We don't all have to agree, okay?
On the Walgreens bandwagon,
Go down
okay.
and buy more.
No, yeah, make sure you clarify that.
That just won him like 10 points right there.
Sounds silly that you want to buy a
Man, 10 Jeremy points. That's worth a lot.
stock and have it go down.
As I always tell people, what's your favorite thing in the world to buy? Is it shirts? Is it clothes? Whatever it is. Investments seem to be the only thing that people want to buy more of as they go up in price, which always boggles my mind. Now, with Tattooed Chef, all I was making the argument is, this seems like a very hyped up stock. People are buying it because it's exciting because they saw this, right? They see this and think this is going this way. I see this and think, okay.
Guys, where's Jeremy's channel? Yeah, this stock isn't hyped up. Look at all this. Look at this. This isn't hype right here. Get ready, Tattooed Chef. Tattooed Chef, OMG. Tattooed Chef stock just went insane.
There's no hype. Jeremy's shaking his head. Look, he's got his hand on his face.
This guy is disgusting, okay? All you have to do is look through his freaking channel and see that he's a total hype investor. And he's a scumbag. Call his company right now and ask them how much they charge. And they will tell you. It's like between $5 or something and $20,000 for him to teach you how to do a freaking 10K, to read a 10K, and some stupid videos in his private course. This guy is a scoundrel, okay? Instead of maxing your 401k, people are paying him $20,000, and it's a freaking joke. But he's not a hype YouTuber.
Temporary overhype, especially when there weren't amazing fundamentals. Now, was it growing fast? Of course, guys. Look at Google Finance over here. Just in June, 45% increase from the previous June, right? Look at March, quarterly, 58% increase. December of last year, 47. It is growing like crazy. My entire thesis is based on, can you overpay for growth? A lot of people,
Jeremy, no!
people would say no, to which I say, well, then if you don't think you can overpay for growth, scratch that. They'd probably say yes, you can, but their actions would say otherwise. But my argument is, if you're willing to pay because it's growing 45%, does that mean 80% isn't better than 45? What's the right number you sit there and say, well, at this point, this growth is enough. You don't have that number.
You have to run several year out numbers, and you have to run your revenue projections. How do you get to revenue projections of a company? You got to understand on a super high level, understand the industry they're going after.
You got to understand it from a high level. See, Jeremy always talks about he understands it from a high level, okay? He doesn't understand jack. He is a freaking hype investor. The only reason he is famous on YouTube, is because he had a small speculative investment in Tesla. Look how much he actually invested. Look at his cost basis. And Tesla went on a massive, insane bull run, an irrational bull run, and that stock is still massively overvalued. And suddenly everybody thinks he's the next freaking financial genius because he made a small speculative play. That's all he does. He makes a bunch of small speculative plays in a bunch of high growth stocks. And the ones that succeed, he points to those and says, oh my God, look how smart I was. I picked a growth stock. I picked the next 10x stock. When his other stocks probably didn't do jack. Okay? That's his whole grift. And then on top of that, he takes $20,000 from people. Remember that.
And you need to be able to say very confidently, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, I think this company is going to be able to do this amount of revenue top line. Now, of that top line, how much do you expect the company to have reached the bottom line? So for instance, for me with a stock like Tattooed Chef, I expect this company to do $1 billion of revenue in the year 2025. The company has said in 2026 they expect to do $1 billion. I think they're going to be ahead of schedule there. So let's assume my scenario plays out. 2025 they hit $1 billion of revenue. I expect the company to have at least 5% or 10% of that revenue to hit the bottom line, meaning I'm expecting
between 5 and 10%.
At least $50 million to $100 million in 2025 to make its way to the bottom line. And obviously that's just the start of the profitability, and hopefully they have years and years to go.
All right, $100 million times 15 PE ratio is a $1.5 billion market cap, which is roughly what the company's trading at now. Wow, that's a banger there, Jeremy.
Revenue growth after that, and I have no doubt about that. But that's really the way you should be doing it. It has to at least make sense. When you run numbers a few years out, the valuation has to at least make sense. Tattoo Chef's been trading at a $1 billion something valuation recently, and I think the company should be able to command a massive PE even in 2025.
Of course. See, that's the whole thing with these growth stock investors. They can come up with whatever numbers they want. It's going to have a massive PE. Because like I just said, $1.55 billion company 5-6 years from now, if you have a PE of 15, okay? There's going to be massive there already is massive competition in the freaking soy boy market. Massive competition. And on top of that, you can actually make your own food and make a lot more food by just buying stuff from Walmart and making it yourself instead of paying $5 for a tiny little box of food. Tattooed Chef's food is a massive freaking ripoff. It is almost nothing. If you're such a vegan and that's what you want to do, you don't have to buy frozen food. You can make it yourself. But of course, he's so fanatical about this company. He cannot hear anything else. He can't hear any conflicting opinions. Look how upset he is. He's like, ugh, because he's got so much money tied up into it. Why would you tie up $1 million of your net worth in a stock that you think is going to maybe be profitable in the next year, 2, 3 years? Maybe. And has so far not really turned a profit. When there's so many more options out there that you could choose that already have a profit and that you'd probably be able to do a more reasonable discounted cash flow analysis because you can actually project the cash flows a lot better. Why would you risk all that money in one highly speculative stock that really doesn't have a moat? It just doesn't make sense. But he's Jeremy. He had a small investment in Tesla. I mean, he's a genius.
Somebody could argue against that. That's fair play. We can argue that back and forth. But, you know, that's the way I like to do it.
Based on fundamental.
The Honest Truly Calming Collection is our must-have for Hazy's nighttime routine.
Thanks, I need to see that.
People have a foggy sense of how to invest. You know, growth seems like great. This is a growth. Would it ever stop? Why would it ever stop? It has since slowed down a bit. So tell us, Paul.
Well, I always bring this example. Great. Which one is better? Has better? People have a hard time.
So he's talking about there. He mentioned specifically what's behind the growth numbers.
The business, and he refinanced money in an exit sale at some point in the future. And that's what our software does for people. So I look at this saying, when you only look at growth numbers.
Why did he look up when Paul talked about the software? What? Are they using math? No way.
You don't look at what's behind.
Or maybe he's actually going to go buy their software and actually do some real analysis of stocks. We'll see.
Behind those growth numbers, in terms of what you're paying for it, you have a problem.
Yeah, so when you talk about what's behind the growth numbers, I'm hoping at some point we get into the fundamentals of Tattoo Chef when we talk about the SKU expansion, store expansion, things like that.
Everything with Tattoo Chef is their number of shares outstanding.
See, he talked about, store expansion, this, that, the other. Everything money has software. You can actually put the freaking numbers in there, okay? And it gives you all a bunch of different buy points for the stock depending on your required rate of return. But see, Jeremy, he doesn't talk about numbers necessarily. He's more about store expansion and this and that, but it's never really about the numbers for him.
Has skyrocketed in the last year. And this is something that people don't really
Will issue more if they want to raise capital to do more things.
2 million shares outstanding. This is a
keep raising money because they're got to build all these gigafactories and things like that. Tattooed Chef,
Okay, so everything Money's talking about share dilution, and Jeremy's like, well, what about Tesla? I love how he refers to Tesla when Tesla's massively overvalued. He's not going to be able to use that little cop-out when that freaking stock comes down to earth, okay? And Jeremy has no answer to what everything Money's talking about with share dilution. If the company's issuing tons of shares, they're diluting the current shareholders, and your ownership of the company and your ownership of its future profits is diluted. He has no answer to that. His only answer is, well, they're growing the business. Okay, well, I mean, until you actually see a profit, I mean, what's the point?
I think can make a small profit in 2022, meaning a positive net income. The other brand that's growing, like, you know.
Go ahead, Mo. I think you should break.
I hope this gentleman understands that, you know, especially in this situation, the CEO, Sam Galletti, he owns like 40% of the company. So if he dilutes, he's diluting himself too. So I hope he understands that.
What that profit? Or you go from owning 10% of the companies that are undervalued or buying their shares back.
You get management teams with their head on. They probably wouldn't have been able to do that deal. If I recall, it was a $35 million deal. So some food for thought there. You know, Tesla had to raise money a million times along the way.
Tesla. He's going to keep referring back to Tesla because it had an irrational run up. And since Tesla 20,000x'd, it doesn't matter if a company you want to invest in is diluting. It's just going to be the next Tesla. Okay? You just have to be patient.
Right? Not every company that raises money is a good company. We know this. But, you know, the ones that have the management teams with their head on straight, like, you know, they obviously, from whatever they dilute, they make way more back than that. Let's keep that in mind.
Yeah, Tattooed Chef, man. It's go try the freaking food. Please, just do me a favor. Go try the food. Tell me how it is. And once you try it, and then you see how much you paid for it, you're going to have your doubts about the company, at least in my humble opinion.
They're giving you more of their company as a way of driving up your share of the company and your share of the...
So, you know, almost every single company in the world that's a public company dilutes shareholder value. I don't know of one that doesn't. Some companies will try...
Not at the same scale that Tattooed Nutsack is doing, Jeremy. And on top of that, a lot of the stocks that Everything Money looks at, they've actually had shares outstanding going down. So he's freaking wrong. That's a misleading cop-out. Tattooed Chef is massively diluting the shareholders. And he's like, oh, well, maybe this one blue chip diluted by 0.5%. So see, they're diluting too. Come on, Jeremy. You make me sick.
Try to offset it by doing share buybacks, essentially. But every single company is always pretty much issuing shares. Like,
okay, well, if they issue shares and then they buy some back, the net effect is that the shareholders are not diluted. Whereas you compare that to Tattooed Chef, they're issuing tons of shares. They are diluting the current shareholders, okay? Not a comparison, not a fair comparison in the slightest.
You know, look at the S&P 500 and tell me how many of those companies haven't diluted shareholders.
Bored with and just looking at these numbers. Just based on valuation, just be careful. That's all I'm asking.
I hate this generalization of like, everybody's an idiot. They don't know what they're doing. Like,
It's true, Jeremy. It is so true, okay? All your little buddies, your little Andre G crypto shill that, you know, splits his portfolio between VTI and VOO. You know, it's basically the same thing. Oh, he's so smart. And me, Kevin, that has half of his portfolio in one freaking stock. And Graham, I don't know why he associates with you. You're all a bunch of clowns, and we're going to take you down. You're going to go down, bucko.
oh gosh, it's painful, man.
Look at it as...
Oh my god, I'm so smart. I put a small investment in Tesla, and then it went up. Just for a little bit. It's gonna crash eventually, but it went up, and I'm so smart.
I really don't like this guy. I'm serious. He's slimy. He's disgusting. He just, like, gives me bad vibes, you know? Yeah, it's ad hominem, but, I mean, just look at that. $20,000 from people taking that much money instead of having people max their 401k. It's freaking gross.
As if your neighbor came to you who owns a mechanics example, one of the biggest Tesla fanboys I know, very different than he looked at an individual.
Like,
Please don't compare crypto to stocks. Please don't do that. Come on, man. Please. Gosh.
I mean, stocks that are companies that aren't profitable are I would say closer to crypto, but whatever.
Is Bitcoin Tattoo Chef now the same thing? Like
$2 for it. All those companies that people are overpaying for the revenue.
Oh, here's where we're gonna stop, but you got to see this reaction. Hold on.
you don't need to.
Buenos noches. Ready for me time. The honest, truly calming collect.
Do your.
Listen to what Paul
Who are
says.
going to criticize and say you didn't do your due diligence. Exactly. I don't need to do my due diligence on a company to see that they're diluting me, that people are overpaying for the revenue.
What? You don't need to do your. You don't need to do your due diligence.
Profit. I just look at it.
The whole point of that is you need to have a criteria where if you look at a company and it doesn't meet your initial criteria, oh, it's not profitable. Oh, it's got a very high price to sales ratio. Oh, they're diluting the current shareholders. All bad things, by the way. You can automatically discount that stock. And sure, maybe you miss the next Amazon. But the whole point of Everything Money is they're telling you you can't just speculate on a ton of massive growth stocks and expect to succeed. Because for every one speculative growth stock like Tattooed Nutsack that you get right, not saying it is right, you're going to get 10, 11, 100 wrong. And on the net positive, you're going to underperform. Well, you're definitely going to underperform an index. And you're most likely going to underperform a value investor, okay? Of course, Jeremy's like, see, they're not actually doing their due diligence. You don't need to spend hours and days and months researching a stock that's not even profitable, that's diluting the current shareholders, okay? Please. Jeremy, I'm done with this video. It's so freaking long. This guy is a scumbag, okay? He buys a bunch of hype stocks. He claims he's a long-term investor, but he makes a video about his freaking Tattooed Nutsack stock every single day, like all the time. And the only reason he's famous is because of Tesla. And we'll see what happens with that. Do not pay this man $20,000. He teaches you how to read a 10K. You can watch my videos, or you can buy Everything Money software for like $25 a month, and you can do better analysis than this freaking hype investor clown does, okay? Anyway, that's it. Like, subscribe, tell your friends about me, and you have a wonderful, delicious night.